Hello, I'm Mr. Pleasant Books. For this first book talk, we'll be discussing the first book in the Wheel of Time series, The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Now, this is just an incredible series. If you haven't read it yet, I'd highly recommend you go out, find it, read it. It's 15 books long, so it's not going to be a short series, but the characters, the world building, the magic system, the lands, the peoples, everything about it is just incredible. I would highly recommend it. Again, if you haven't read it, go out and read it. Okay, just so you know, from this point forward, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't read it yet, this is where you're going to want to turn away. Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Let's start with the prologue. I mean, it's the prologue, probably the best prologue I've ever read out of any book series I've come across. And it is just such a hook to get you into the series. And it goes over Luz, Theron, Telamon, the Kinslayer, the dragon, explains about the breaking of the world, how it happened, why it happened, lets you know that the seals that he put on the Dark One's prison didn't completely work, and that's why the Dark One is still able to kind of have that influence around the world, and it lets you know that because Ishamael is still free. Not all the time, just some of the time. And he's the head of the Forsaken, and since the Forsaken and the Dark One were supposed to be trapped behind the seals, it lets you know that that counterstroke, that tainted side in, the male half of the true source, didn't quite work. And that prologue is just fantastic. And then it gets into the actual storyline, where we come across Rand, Mat, Perrin, Egwene, Nynaeve, Moiraine, Lan, Tam, just Loyal, all of these amazing, fantastic characters. And we find out that Rand, Mat, and Perrin have the Dark One after them. That Padon Fane, the peddler, he'd been coming into town looking for them for years. That he'd been trying to find them so that the Dark One could find the Dragon Reborn. The person who's going to, in prophecy, stop him from taking over the world. And they know that, and he knows it's either Rand, Mat, or Perrin, but you know, he can't tell which one, until Tam has his fever dream, which lets you know that he traveled outside of the two rivers. He found Rand on the Dragon Mount, you know, Luz Theron's tomb, that he had made him, you know, when he called fire down and killed himself, because he realized he'd killed his entire family. That he had fought at Tar Valon during the Aiel War, you know, at the shining walls of the Aes Sedai headquarters, the White Tower headquarters, and that while he was trying to get away from the blood and the death, yeah, he found Rand, you know, and because he couldn't have kids, he and his wife couldn't, but they never told anybody that except for the Wisdom, who told Nynaeve, because Nynaeve's the new Wisdom, and it's so right there in the beginning of the book, you have a pretty good idea Rand is going to be the one that the Dark One's after. That he sends his Trollocs and the Mithril to the two rivers in order to catch Rand. Only the Dark One doesn't know that. Like when they're all fleeing away and running away from the Trollocs, the dreams, the nightmares, you know, it's affecting Rand, Mat, and Perrin. So it's the Dark One. It's letting you know so that he's not all-knowing. That he needs his spies, his dark friends, the ravens, the rats, to spy for him, to find out the information. That fever dream and the Trolloc attack, where it brings up one of the big questions in the entirety of the Wheel of Time series, and that's how Tam didn't know Moiraine was an Aes Sedai. That has always bothered me, how Tam didn't know that. I mean, Moiraine is described as having an ageless face, which all Aes Sedai are described as having. She has the great serpent ring on her finger, which all Aes Sedai have. And she has a warder with her, with a color-shifting cloak, which is, again, another massive clue as to who these people are. And Tam somehow didn't know. You think if he had known, maybe it would have helped everyone get prepared for the Trollocs coming in, because they would have listened to Moiraine and Lan a little bit better. Tam would have been, you know, more prepared, so he wouldn't have gotten hurt. And because he was quick enough, you know, to let Rand go off with Moiraine, but it's just, how did Tam not know Moiraine and Lan were an Aes Sedai and her warder? It's always bothered me, because he should have known. It's a small town, Edmondsfield. So strangers in town, you think would have been talked about and discussed, but whatever. Moving on. They're heading up, going into Bear Lawn, where we find out Egwene knows how to channel one power, wants to become an Aes Sedai. You know, of course, everybody's against it because the Aes Sedai broke the world, but she's determined. She wants to become an Aes Sedai, and then thank goodness. I first want to say, yeah, Matt. Matt, my favorite character, probably in the whole series. And thank goodness he's in the series. Because he's the comic relief. He's the one who makes you laugh. The one who, even though all this serious stuff is happening, he's going to smile and going to joke. And you catch that right in the beginning that he had caught a badger and he wanted Rand and Perrin to help him release it onto the green to scare everybody. So thank goodness for Matt. And throughout the series and throughout the book, he says the wrong thing at the wrong time. And he's just got that attitude that he's probably a lot of people's favorite character. I mean, Rand's the main hero. Perrin is a big hero as well. Egwene and Nynaeve and Moiraine are all heroes as well. But Matt's the relatable hero, I guess you could say. I'm so glad he's in the series. I mean, even after he takes the dagger from Shadar Logoth and starts getting tainted by the evil and hatred of that place, he still is a likable character, even though he starts becoming upset and angry with everybody. And he's still a likable character. And Tom Maryland, I'm glad he was in this series because he's the one who showed Matt, juggling, and so he got him to be good with his hands, got him to be good on his feet, got him to be good thinking quickly, which is what a Gleeman does, which is what Tom is. So thank goodness for that as well. And then we have Perrin, who, this is a power I would love to have. Perrin becomes a wolf brother. That means he can talk to wolves. His eyesight, his hearing, his sense of smell all improve. And his eyes turn yellow, but I'd be fine with that side effect. Especially when nowadays people just think it'd be some weird illness. They wouldn't automatically assume, evil. just think, oh, that guy's sick. But no, I can actually talk to wolves. That would be an awesome power to have. Because even the wolves in the book, and the way that they describe, like it's in pictures and scents, is how the wolves communicate with each other. And that just be a really cool ability and power to have. And it even helps Perrin to be recognized by the Green Man when they get to the Eye of the World, name for the book. That is where Rand learns that he can channel the one power himself. And that Eye of the World, they meet the Green Man, who even calls him Wolf Brother. So just being called Wolf Brother would be awesome. Just to have that nickname or that title would be really. And I like Matt the most, but Perrin's ability, and that would just be amazing to have that. Just saying, Robert Jordan came up with a really cool power in the Wolf Brother and the Wolf Speak that he has for Perrin. And then just the one power itself, all the things that you can do with it. And in just the first book alone, we get to see that you can bond people with it. And it's like Moiraine gave the boys a coin, so that from that point on she could tell where they were, no matter where they went. She created an entire fog bank that covered miles. She caused an earthquake. She caused a wall of fire. She sunk a ferry. Made herself appear 20 feet tall and walk over a gate. She shot fire from her hands, caused a staff, just a piece of wood that she had to glow, so that it got everybody to focus on that and calm down so that she could get away from Edmondsfield without anybody being suspicious. And just as the series go on and all the other amazing things that you learn you can do with one power, and that I wish that was in our world. And there's a lot of people I've been reading online who claim that the Westlands and the Aiel Waste and all of that takes place in the Wheel of Time series is in the future for our world. I disagree with that. I don't think that's true. Just because there's too many differences that can't be explained. But a lot of people think at some point in our future we're going to somehow be able to gain the ability to use the one power. And if that's true, I unfortunately won't live that long, but it'd be amazing to think that might be reborn in another age, and be able to handle the one power maybe in that future age. Oh, and actually that reminds me of one of my favorite passages in the entire book, and this is in every book. You have what I call the wind poem. And it's the first paragraph of every book they have, where it talks about a wind starting up, which is the wheel of time turns and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth comes again. In one age, called the third age by some, an age yet to come, an age long past, a wind rose in the mountains of mist. The wind was not the beginning. There are neither beginnings nor endings to the passage of the wheel of time, but it was a beginning. And Robert Jordan does that with every single one of his books. And Brandon Sanderson, later on, when he finishes the series, because Robert Jordan died, he keeps that same wind poem at the beginning of each one of his books. And that's just awesome. I'm glad, because that's just really sets the tone for the epic scale on which this series is built. And the other thing I really like about these series is that it has maps throughout the entire book. And like you have, of course, the map right in the beginning, but then because of how thick this book is, almost 800 pages, and you don't want to be getting like in the middle of it and hear about Camelin or Tarvalin or one of those other places, and then have to flip all the way back to the beginning of the book in order to find the map again. So he pulls up right then another page in the book, the two rivers, Emmons Field, so you can see where Emmons Field, Watch Hill, Devon Ride, Tarrant Ferry, and have that right there. And I think that was a really good idea on Robert Jordan's part to do that, because you don't see that in other series. And so it's handy, and it's nice that we get that option of, even right in the middle of the book, being able to look at the map and tell where all the characters are. Like even this far in the book, almost 200 pages, another map. So you can see where they travel and where they're going, where they started, where they ended, and all the little spaces in between. It's just, again, this book series is amazing. It's been around for a long time, and if you haven't started it yet, if you're thinking about starting it, definitely go and read it. It's absolutely worth your time. Even if it takes you a week to read the 800-page book, still absolutely worth your time. And you're going to come across a bunch of words and names and things that are hard to pronounce, like Mithril or Angreol, or Sidin, Sidar, Ter Angreol, Sol Angreol, and Aes Sedai, people's names, Lord Algamar. And one of the other awesome things that Robert Jordan did is he put a glossary in there. And so you have, going through that, names and definitions to help you understand who everyone is, what everything is, and how to say it. Because you look at Aiel, A-I-E-L, you don't think that's how it's pronounced, but it is, Aiel. And you learn that from the glossary of the book. Just amazing series. I can't say enough good things about it. So I'm going to end it here. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you'll come back and listen to more. And if you just listen to this without having read it yet, I hope this inspired you to go out and read the series. And just, again, I wish I was you so I could go back and read this again for the first time, because it's just that good. Thank you for listening. I'm Mr. Pleasant Books. I'll talk to you later.